Hey again. This video will be about the Hebrew Israelite movement. I've been watching a lot of programs regarding the Hebrew Israelite. Some of it is very interesting, but I do have concerns. I would say at this part of my life, my spiritual walk, I am a searcher. I am seeking knowledge and information and um, in hopes of getting better grounded about who I am and where I'm going in life. My concern regarding the Hebrew Israelite movement is that they seem to be interested in having people become polygamous. That means having more than one wife. I think this is a very dangerous um, practice uh, in the United States. Culturally, it doesn't seem balanced here. Why I say that is because when you have more than one woman competing for one man, um, you have the offspring of these unions. A child needs a father at home. If this father is living in different houses according to what day of the week, whatever that they uh, have them, you know, it I think it's going to cause confusion, jealousy, strife, and the like. It'll put insecurity in that young child. I think a child needs a mom and dad at home, and when the father is elsewhere, this I think could be very problematic. Okay, and our current culture doesn't support having polygamy. I've heard some Hebrew Israelites say, well, it's an African thing. Well, this is in Africa, and that what's happening in Africa, we don't live there. We live here in the United States. And what's happening in Africa, you have a different system there, you know? And so maybe in their society, it might work. But in this society, it's just another means, I think, of men trying to control women, and that it's exploitive. And why I say it's exploitive is because, that who's really benefiting from the union? Is he or she? Okay? I feel sometimes that the men don't want to handle a real woman. And so when there's a problem, they can just go to the next woman. A real family builder, you know, is a man who stays with one woman and builds on that relationship. I think it's an easy way out for a man to avoid true responsibilities and to just say, well, because something comes from Africa. Not everything that comes from Africa is helpful because a lot of Africa is not doing well. It needs help. So I so it's just something that I noticed that at least two Hebrew Israelite movements that I heard that they are promoting that. One of the Hebrew Israelite movement, I was surprised. They had his headquarters is in Great Britain, and they have U.S. offices here in one of the southern states. And the person I spoke to, um, uh, I forgot how we started the conversation, but he had said, "Oh well, if you're not married, you need a covering." And I've heard that expression before that a woman needs a covering, and it's usually men that are saying that to regarding a woman. And I said, well, I'm not married. And he said, well, your father. I said, well, my father's deceased. I live alone. Well, you shouldn't live alone. And it's nothing spiritual about it. You have women that live alone. And it doesn't mean that they're immoral. It just means that they live alone. If you're an older woman or your parents are deceased, then you have to take care of yourself. So I don't think anything is wrong with taking care of yourself, but to feel that, well, it's a mandate. He pretty much was saying that it's a mandate that a woman has to be under um, the has to have some male figure living with them, whether it be their father or their husband or male relatives. And when I hear something like that, um, I think about Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the women there are are forbidden to go outside their home unaccompanied by a male. The male that they're with could be as young as an infant, a male infant. I think that is so severe. They also cannot be behind the wheel of a car. They cannot drive it. They're forbidden to drive. To me, this is just a symptom that the men are insecure and they fear that their women are going to leave them. Rather than being afraid that their women will leave them, find out what you're doing wrong and correct it. And to just exert over them or forbidding them to be in certain careers, I think it's just really one step away from slavery for the women. It's like legalize. You're a married slave. You get the benefits because that's your husband, and you get your food from him. But it's really no different from slavery. You just under someone's roof, but you have no say about um, your likes or dislikes, and no freedom. And freedom doesn't mean to be a fool and do something stupid outside, but freedom is the freedom of travel, the freedom of education, the freedom of, you know, employment. Women are the backbone of the society, and there's no need to oppress women. Rather than oppressing, you know, try to find out what your insecurities are as a people and work at improving it. So I feel also with this polygamy, it's a means of controlling women's purses, and that I didn't like. And also with this particular Hebrew Israelite, um, he has the person that was telling me that I have to be under a man's covering, that he had four wives, he told me. He has a wife in Africa, he has wives in the United States. So, you know, this is something illegal. I mean, the, even the Bible talks about that, the governs are ordained by God, and that, with an honest government, I'm referring to that, the rules in this country are that polygamy is against the law. So he's in a host country and he's doing something illegal. So I think that's problematic. If he goes to a place like Saudi Arabia or something like that, then so be it. But he's in this territory and he's doing something illegal. And I also question whether or not the other women know about each other. I also add, oh, his purpose, he said, to have the different wives is because in the Bible, I think something about was it Abraham's well or something like that, that they had different locations and he would have a wife at each of those locations or something like that. And it is for nation building. I think that's also another motive that it's about, you know, forming a nation, like what the Mormons, the former Mormon church used to do. That they used when they initially started, they had the multiple wives, and which was illegal at the time, and But again, they had a purpose, and it was about getting members, getting people behind that new denomination to get strength with that movement. So, I like the idea of nation building, but, with one wife and one husband. And it's expensive. You have to take care of four women. So I don't know whether each of the men that had the four wives, whether he's actually financially taking care of them, or do they have to support themselves. That I don't know. But again, be careful with these new movements within the black community. Find out what is their purpose. They might use, say a little truth, a little social truth, but they might throw something else in there that might be problematic. And I think the polygamy thing is problematic. Also, look at their literature. This particular group, they have their own Bible. That it's it's supposed to examine the original language, what the words mean in their translation, and it was in their Bible that I saw that it promoted polygamy. So when I ordered the Bible online from them, I didn't know about their stand on polygamy. I didn't know that they were involved in that. It seemed on the surface very spiritual, and that they were seeking, greater knowledge with the Old Testament, and so that's why I got it. And then upon reading it, in the introduction, that it makes mention about that this is something that they stand behind. So, and then when I called them, he just, pretty much confirmed what their literature said. So again, uh, look at the literature of these new Hebrew Israelites, what they really believe in, and motive. And again, if they're about nation building, are they also interested in a country, a country back and going to another country? So um, be aware of this. Find out if the church or the new group that you think you want to belong to, find out what their goal is. Or their goal is to relocate to another country, and if so, what country? Okay. So again, YouTube, I share you this information so that you can be informed and do your own research as well. So take care. Bye bye.